Coach Bates, how you doing?
How are you today?
Doing well. Thanks for joining us. And we're recording, so whenever you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and get started. Feel free to ask any questions to Coach Bates.
Randy, Trevor Lawrence is he's pretty good. What have you kind of seen on tape out of him, and in terms of the quarterbacks that you faced in your career? I mean, he's obviously in terms of the accolades and everything he's got. I mean, how does he kind of stack up?
Well, he's tall, he's long, he's really, really smart as far as where he goes with the ball. He doesn't make a lot of bad decisions. I mean, he's fast, boy. I'm really impressed. I know I was when he was a freshman, but he's not any slower. He's got a lot of velocity on the ball. He really puts the ball where it needs to be. So other than that, I don't think he's very good.
How does he look how different does he look from the Trevor Lawrence that you guys saw 2 years ago?
He was really good as a freshman. I think probably the biggest difference is he's maybe even in more control of the game. Being an older guy, more experienced, and I think he makes even better decisions. Not that he didn't as a freshman, but he makes some times where he just throws it out of bounds.
Randy, you guys excel in a couple areas that would be able to stop a good player like Lawrence and a good player like Travis Etienne. Tackles for losses, sacks, and interceptions. Those are the kind of things that they can slow down a really good team if you do it right?
I think so. They're an RPO team, so, they'll run it and throw it. I mean, they're, second in the country in passing, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're averaging 350 or something a game throwing the ball. And that's not necessarily just with Lawrence in there. Do I think we can stop the run? I hope so. We didn't do a very good job in the championship game several years ago. And, I believe up front we're a better team overall. So I hope so. And then, we got to be able to cover them also. But, they're so balanced either way because they got a great running back, they got a great quarterback, and their wide receivers are big and long, and it's a tough challenge.
Have you done anything in the off season or during training camp or in the season to help you get a lot of sacks? You emphasize it, obviously, but have you done anything to make that happen? I
don't think we've reached what we did last year yet, have we? So I'd like to think that we still got a lot of work to do. We were out there working hard on it today, but I think more than anything, we're taking the older guys are taking their technique to a different level, and they're crafting, some new moves. And I think where it really has helped more than anything are the younger guys being able to learn from the older guys, because the guys do a great job of teaching each other. And I think that's, if there is one thing I can say about this group as a whole on defense is that, they are a group together. They are a team, and they worry about their teammates before they worry about themselves.
Randy, with Etienne, early in the career, he was mostly just a ball carrier, but now he's more of a receiver. What kind of challenges does he present in the passing game?
Boy, they get you matched up with him in different situations. I saw him against a wideout in the one game, against the corner, and he just ran right by him. So, he's fast. I'm shocked he's still there because, he's got to be one of the top guys in the country. If he's not the number one guy, he catches, and he's fast, and he makes great choices where he runs with the ball. So matchup's probably the number one thing.
Anything else?
Randy, Amari Rodgers, deep threat for them. What have you kind of seen on tape out of him specifically in terms of what your corners will have to deal with on Saturday?
Well, they move him around, so you can't really figure out where he's going to be. And I think that's the biggest challenge. A lot of people keep their wideouts in certain positions, so you know how to defend it. But with them, they move him around so much. You have to be aware of where he is, and then you have to adjust your coverage accordingly. So That's why they do what they do. And he's obviously a smart young man to be able to move to all those different positions.
Randy, I wanted to ask about some guys that kind of flipped back and forth position-wise. I think Hallett started at corner, then he played safety this last game. I saw Deslin playing a little bit of three-tech inside. How do you think they did, kind of bouncing back and forth?
Well, both guys did a great job. It's really amazing to watch Hallett go from corner to safety and start the first time ever for him starting and doing it at two different positions. I think that says a lot about his level of intelligence. I mean, he made some mistakes, but overall he did a great job, I thought. And then same thing with Dez. Dez embraced moving inside. It gives us a little more speed and size inside, and did a great job too. And kids just did a great job of just jumping up and down. And I give our coaches credit. We talked about it during the summertime that we were aware that things like this could happen where you're going to lose guys. And so, we had a plan from day one as to teaching guys how to play more than one position. And sure enough, it happened this week.
Randy, this is a marquee matchup, national TV and all that. How do you think some of your younger guys, will handle, the importance of the game? Guys like Brandon Hill, if he plays, and Savasier Dennis and those guys.
Oh, we played Notre Dame a couple weeks earlier, so I don't see it to be any big deal. I mean, it's obviously an away game. I think the one thing that's far different this year than any other year is that there's less of a home field advantage because there's less people in the stands, calling you names and stuff like that. So does that help you? Probably a little bit. I see teams that probably shouldn't be winning away, just playing as if it's a home game. So I would hope that we would respond without any problem.
Randy, Tony Elliott, their OC, is a guy who's been getting some head coaching, consideration and all that kind of stuff. I mean, what have you seen out of him, his play calling this year specifically that is maybe different than a couple of years ago or better, or what I guess has stood out to you in that regard?
I would say they're pretty much the same team we played 4 years ago. I think they do what they do. They're not real complicated. And, they are in 11 personnel, 1 tight end and 3 wideouts almost the entire game. It's pretty much the same offense and unfortunately about the same team as when we played them a few years ago.
You talked about, not your sack total not reaching last year just yet, but your turnover total has. I mean, what have you guys done better this year to kind of generate more turnovers?
Well, we talk to the kids all the time about being aggressive and go taking your shots. And I think what happens is when you go and attack the quarterback, he throws bad balls. And then, unfortunately, the thing we haven't done is catch enough of them. We've caught more, but, you got to catch the ball when it hits you in the hands. I can probably think of 6 or 8 of them that we should have got. And, that's the mark of a great team. I think we have gotten a lot more, and I wish we would have gotten, even 5 or 6 more.
We have a final question. All good. Well, Coach Bates, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
You too. We will have Mr. Kessman and Mr. Morrissey shortly. So thanks for joining us today. Right on cue. There he is, number 97. Alex, thanks for joining us. Any questions for Mr. Kessman?
Alex, what do you attribute your long-range success to this year? You missed some shorter ones, but the long ones seem don't phase you too much.
Yeah, it's the mindset of every kick matters. I just I gotta get better inside of 50, obviously, and that just comes with time and patience and You know, the two guys that I have with me, Kirk and Cal, have been fantastic this year. So a lot of my success is because of them, and I can't thank them enough. And you know, I've been putting them through from 50 this year, and I'm blessed to do that. So.
Alex, were you down in Clemson in 2016? And, you know, even if you weren't, what was going through your head whenever Chris was lining up for that big game-winning kick?
I was down there, and there was a lot going through my head. As a young kid, obviously I wanted that to be me. And me and Chris have a very good relationship, always have. And I couldn't have been happier for him when he drilled that through. You know, it was, I'll never forget it. That's for sure.
Chris, Alex, do you think about those scenarios that Chris had? Like, do you play them in your mind when you're practicing on the side? You know, hey, game-winning kick out of Clemson. Do you kind of go through those type of drills in your head?
Yeah, I for some reason this year, you know, maybe that's just growing up or something, but my mindset's changed a little bit. You know, whether that becomes practice or the game or leading up to practice. You know, I've become more of a professional in the things I've been doing, preparing my body. And I just feel like every kick is a game-winning kick for me. And that's the mindset I have right now, whether that be practice, making every single kick I possibly can, and playing it up as that Clemson kick, whether that be a PAT in Boston College. You know, that, trust me, that I everything happens for a reason. I'm a big believer in that. And that kick in Boston College taught me a lot about having that mindset, about having the mindset of every kick matters. Every kick's a game-winning kick. And I was punished for it in Boston College. I was, you know, reflecting on the 58, and, you know, that's in the past. It was done and over with. I needed to move forward and, you know, live and learn.
Alex, you mentioned moving forward from that extra point. You know, obviously since then you've been pretty damn good. You know, how do you feel you have moved forward from that, and just you know, really putting that in the rearview mirror?
Yeah, like I said, you know, I learned something from it. I learned something from success, and I sure as hell learned something from failure. I learned more from failure than success, and you know, it depends on it's how you take it. You know, I can dwell on the you know, me costing us the win, or the potential for a win, or I can move forward, learn from it, get better from it, and change my mindset throughout the season. And that mindset is every kick matters. Stay level-headed, not too high, not too low, just like Coach Junk says, and just stay level-headed. You know, every kick matters, no matter if it's a game-winning kick or a PAT, as we saw.
Do you still look for help from some of the outside sources you talked about earlier in the season?
Yeah, I obviously, you know, I have a pretty good team with Dr. Rosen, and Dr. Rosen has obviously taught me different ways to handle things. So for the most part, I've been doing it a lot by myself. Like I said, preparing my mind over my body, honestly, which, because 90% of what I do is in between the ears. And I didn't really focus on that when I was young, and I've been focusing on it, and it's helped me a lot. So,
Alex, you still have 2 or so games to go, but you're getting to nearing the end of your Pitt career. Can you talk about what the last 4 years have meant to you at Pitt?
Yeah, where do I even begin? It's truly a blessing, coming here as a walk-on, and it shows a lot about Coach Narduzzi too. Just staying true to his word. He said, you know, you come here, you earn your spot, and we'll give you a scholarship. And he did it. And it's a blessing to play at this university and to be surrounded by a coaching staff like we have and players like we have. It's unbelievable, and I'm truly grateful for the opportunity.
Cass, what was Saturday like? Senior day, ACC Specialist of the Week, bang a couple of 50-yarders. What was that day like for you?
Emotional. I walked on the field. I go out and kick and all that stuff, and then we go back in and we get ready, and then we come out as a group, as a specialist unit. And I get out and I look around, and it was a surreal moment. And Kirk knew it, Cal knew it, and Coach Powell and Partridge knew it. So they all of them gave me a hug, and it was during warm-ups I had a lot on my mind, and Coach Powell came up to me and just said, center your mind and get ready for the game. And that's what I did. And I let my emotions go and my focus, start to heighten a little bit during the game. And it was a cool moment, especially because my whole family was there. So
They make the trip from Michigan?
they did. Yeah, I had an army there.
How many?
16 people, maybe 14 people, something like that. I had a good amount of people there.
Did you consider using the blanket waiver? I guess, technically you still can, but did you consider that, especially with Kirk and Cal, at least playing on?
Yeah, I thought long and hard and had many conversations with a lot of people. Coach Doozy, one of them, and obviously my father. And I felt like it was I'm ready for that next chapter in my life, whether that be whatever that may be. And I'm pretty confident with that decision.
Anything
Alex?
final for Alex? Go ahead, Jeff.
Alex, let's talk around the room about the opportunity you guys have on Saturday to play at the number 4 team in the nation.
No, it's an amazing opportunity, and we all know it. We're not taking it for granted, and the level of focus is there, the discipline is there. We just got to go execute, and first and foremost, I have to do my job, and the rest of the specialists have to do their job and to help us win. So that's what we're focused on.
All good. Well, Alex, thank you as always. Really appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Alex.
And we'll wrap up today with Jimmy Morrissey shortly.
Sometimes he'll come in around the road.
And there he is. Mr. Morrissey
Thank you, buddy.
joining us.
How we doing, guys?
Doing well. Go ahead and open up the questions for Jimmy.
Jimmy, we just had Alex Kessman here. The way that he bounced back from the BC game, over these last few weeks, especially on Saturday, has been pretty impressive. I mean, what have you seen out of him as a fellow senior, as a guy who comes to work every day with a veteran mentality, the way that he's responded and rebounded really this season?
Kessman's a fantastic kicker. He's good at his job, and I have all the confidence in the world in him. So, I mean, when he misses that extra point, you're like, that's out of character for him. You know what I mean? And, then you have those thoughts where you're like, it's not going to happen the rest of the year. So when he drills all those kicks against VTech last weekend, it's honestly what you expect from him, because he's such a good kicker, and he's really good at his job.
Jimmy, you guys are missing so many guys, over the game last week. Now it's 2 games in a row where the offensive line's been putting together work to get the running game going. What did you guys, now that you've had time to look at the film, I know you guys are already looking forward to next week, but what have you guys take notes from what you did this week that was really good and what you're looking forward to keep going?
We executed the game plan well, and that's, all you can really ask for when the coach presents to you what you're going to do in the game on Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning, and then you practice it for the rest of the week. You hope that it all comes together on Saturday, and luckily it did in the past 2 weeks. So we'll continue on that train.
Jimmy, I'm interested to know where you were November 12th, 2016, and how you reacted when the ball went through the uprights.
I was in Sutherland room 613 with Michael Vardzell, my roommate, and we were very happy when it went through. He and I were watching it. I think I had some Ben and Jerry's back then, and we just sat and watched it in our dorm room. It was awesome. I wish I could have traveled that game, but yeah, it was. I remember everybody on our dorm room like yelling and screaming.
Do you travel at all that year?
I traveled to a UVA game once, and they just rewarded me for going hard on the scout team. But other than that, no, I didn't travel twice.
Jimmy, how have you grown up since your freshman year?
Oh, that's I've grown a lot physically. I can grow facial hair now, as you guys can see. But no, I've grown a lot. Luckily, I've had great coaches and, mentors along the way. But my knowledge for the game, my experience, obviously, I've been able to play a lot of football, fortunately, and become a lot better player since I was a freshman. So,
Jimmy, obviously you're around that team. What did it take to pull that game off in 2016? And is there anything you can recreate, or how do you try to emulate what they did 4 years ago?
Yeah, the biggest thing I remember from that week is after our offensive unit meeting on Sunday night when we went over the game before, we, touched on Clemson real quick. And it was really everybody that walked out of the room just had belief that we were going to win that game. And I think you see that in this team too. The confidence that we go into every week. And especially now, it feels good to get 2 wins under your belt. And, you don't want to reflect on that because it's, this game is a what have you done for me lately, so we haven't won this game yet. So we have a lot to prove. That 2-game win streak doesn't mean anything right now. But it's just a belief every day that you're going to go down to Clemson. You hop on that plane to go down to Clemson, South Carolina to win. You're not going down there to lose. And that's just like every day I show up because we're going to win this weekend. I'm not showing up just to practice and show up and give Clemson a fun win for them. We're going down to beat Clemson. And I think really the biggest thing from 2016 that I'm trying to make sure that we have here is the belief. And it's not hard to make sure we have that because a lot of guys do believe that.
Jimmy, how hard was it for you back in 2018, the ACC title game, not being able to play in that game against Clemson?
It was heartbreaking. To be honest with you, that was the number one game I was looking forward to all year. 2018 was my second year starting, and I knew they had 2 defensive tackles in the first round, another D-end in this first round, another one in the second round. So I knew if we got to the championship game, that'd be a big game for me to put my name on the map, really, kind of for as long as it goes with, NFL teams looking at me. And I wanted to get to the ACC championship. That's all we break it down on in the off season is getting there and, going to win it. But yeah, I broke my ankle 2 games before it, and it was crushing. It was probably one of the worst things that ever happened in my life. So I'm excited to go down there and play now. My younger sister is a junior there, so it means my whole family's going to be down there.
Jimmy, everyone knows Clemson's very good. I mean, they're one of the top programs in the country for the past several years. But you guys looking forward, they're in the ACC. They're third in overall in scoring defense, third in rushing defense, and they're the second best sack producing defense behind Pitt's defense. What have you guys been looking at to see that you guys can try to exploit, do better? What you're preparing to face going into this game?
I'm not going to cover any specifics, but they do a lot of they have a variety when it comes to their scheme. So they're going to throw everything at us. They have a ton of blitzes that they throw at us, stunts. They cover everything. So really that's our job, is to make sure we cover everything this week. Go through everything. We're not going to have enough reps on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to get through it, and physical reps, but we can get it in mental reps when the O-line comes back here at night, tomorrow night, making sure we get in the film room and, seeing everything before we see it on Saturday. So just make sure that we're prepared, really. And they're well coached, so we got to be sound.
Jimmy,
I asked Alex this
Hey,
question
Kelly.
already, but sorry, I asked Alex this question too, and I wanted to ask you. You have a couple more games left as the Pitt Panther. What has being a Pitt Panther meant to you? What has the last 4 years meant to you?
It's been everything. I always wanted to grow up and be a football player, and Pitt was the only place that gave me an opportunity to play at the Division I level. So I took a chance, with the advice of my mom and dad, to come walk on here, and luckily it worked out for me. So I'm extremely grateful to Coach Narduzzi and all the staff here and the University of Pittsburgh. I love this city. I love this school. And, I'm a Pitt man until the day I die. So being a Pitt Panther is everything to me. I love this school and I love this team.
Jimmy, speaking of being a Pitt man, how did you let your sister go to Clemson, not to Pitt?
She always wanted to go down south. So, she'll be cheering for Pitt on Saturday. So that's all that really matters, I guess.
Which sister is it that goes to Clemson?
Younger one, Kira.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, Pat told us that AJ Davis had a root canal before the game on Saturday. What were you guys talking about as a team? What did you see from him? That just sounds like an excruciating experience for anyone to then play through.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know until I heard after the game that AJ had a root canal. So it's impressive. Yeah, I had no idea that he had one. So
it's like when you saw him before the game, there was like no indication that he was going through anything. He was just like, I'm here.
Yeah. And during the game we were talking. I remember specifically talking to him on the field at one point, and I didn't notice anything. And then after I was like, "You good, man?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, it just kind of hurts where they numbed it up, put the needle in. I was like, "All right, nice."
Jimmy, how proud are you of what the O-line did, considering what you guys had to overcome? You had to put new pieces in, and is that something that builds? Is that confidence that can build from game to game?
For sure. I'm extremely proud of those guys. From Bryce was the only starter during practice. I wasn't around. Cradle, Gabe, Carter, we were all out. And Bryce had to be, the only leader really out there, but then they all stepped up. Carson, he's done a fantastic job. He's played a lot of football here since 2018. So he did I wasn't worried about him. And then Blake Sabovic stepped up. He really has only gotten a couple snaps all season. Now he goes into starting against Virginia Tech, my last home game really at Pitt. So, you have those thoughts, but then really I've known Big Z for the past 3 years, and, I really wasn't worried about him. And then Matt Gonsalves, really, because I didn't practice, Owen Drexel didn't practice. So Gonsalves was playing. He was our backup left guard all season. Last year he played all tackle. Then they moved him to guard all season. Now they're asking him to play center. And then they want him to start on tackle for the game. So he did a fantastic job too. So they all stepped up, and I'm extremely proud of all of them.
Anything final for Jimmy?
Jimmy, I talked to your mom. You have a pretty special mom. I talked to her back before they were allowed to come to any games, and I know she's probably been in the stands at every one since then. How much has it meant to you to have her in the stands for Senior Day and for the rest of the season?
Yeah, it's been everything to have my mom and dad there. They haven't. I can't remember them ever missing a game. At least one of my parents were at a game of mine since I was in first grade. So, they deserve all the praise, anything I get, because it's the way they raised me and supported me all throughout my career. So it's meant everything to have them at the games.
That was a very good answer. You're a sweet boy.
Thank you.
All good? All right, Jimmy, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it, man.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
Actually,
All right, and that'll wrap us up for today. We'll get back at it tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us, and have a good rest of your day.